talk about it. Couple topics we're gonna flow through real quick. First of all, the state of Oregon, their sheriff said they will not enforce a new gun law because they think it infringes on the Second Amendment. It's a little bit weird. We're talking about 40 states that settled a Google location tracking lawsuit for over $390 million. And we talking about the White House looking for more money, billions of dollars to help Ukraine. We also listen to Nas's new King Disease 3 album, and we watch Smile on Amazon Prime. We're going to talk about all that and sports coming up, starting with Pop Tops. You kicking it with KC. Let's run it. Feeling good, baby. We on that momentum. Pop Tops, popular topics that may or may not be talked about in the news. This first story coming from foxnews.com. Talking about these Oregon sheriffs who said, we not about to enforce this new law that we got from that voters actually voted for. We're not going to enforce that. We don't care that y'all actually voted for this law. Now, what the law is, it was a proposal during their most recent election. Close this off. It was a proposal during their most recent election. It was called Measure 114, Measure 114. And it was known as the Reduction of Gun Violence Act. It was approved by Oregon voters last week during the midterm elections. Now, what it does is it outlaws ammunition magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. Your magazine can't have any more than 10 rounds in it, or it's considered illegal. It also requires police to maintain an electronic and searchable database for all firearms permits, and they have to provide additional hands-on firearm training and collect fingerprints from people before issuing permits to buy guns. It sounds like basic stuff that we go through in most states. I mean, I had to get fingerprinted for my gun before I had my permit. Now, the less than 10 rounds, I don't know nothing about, but sheriffs are saying that part alone, that specific part, they say that's not about to reduce gun violence. That has nothing to do with it. In fact, that is anti-gun policies. So the sheriffs in Oregon, where this was actually voted for, they said we're not about to enforce this. They say it's a waste of resources. Now, this is my thing. This is weird on so many levels. One, because how the hell are the police who are supposed to enforce laws saying we're not about to enforce this law? So y'all picking and choosing the laws that you want to enforce that the voters of the law-abiding citizens and voters of that town who pay your salary, by the way, choose to vote for. You say you don't want to enforce that. I think the police should be dealt with. They should be penalized for that or lose their jobs if you don't want to enforce a law that your voters and law-abiding citizens voted for. That's your job. That's your job, literally, to protect and serve. Protect the laws. To be honest with you. So anyway, the police also said they don't feel like this is actually going to reduce crime. I agree, having less than 10 rounds ain't going to necessarily reduce crime. But since when does the police give a damn about what reduces crime? They say they want to focus on more drug-related situations since the state of Oregon now has decriminalized harsh drugs such as meth and mushrooms. They decriminalize it. So they're focused on more drug-related crimes, which I get. But if y'all not about to, if it ain't like a violent crime or something like that, then why are we even really worried about drugs? That was the whole point of them decriminalizing it. So you don't have to worry about drugs as police officers. Do I think reducing the magazine down to 10 rounds is going to reduce crime? Like I said, no, not at all. This other stuff requiring a database, permits, collecting fingerprints, that's going to help with certain crimes. It's going to help track people. But people that commit crimes usually aren't about to go through and get a legit permit. So the 10 rounds may not prevent or reduce crime. But this is what I do want to say. Police, if y'all really wanted to help reduce crime, literally stop actually focusing your time on other stupid ass crimes and go to real crimes. Stop worrying about harassing people in certain communities, certain groups. Actually go for the actual goddamn crimes. The larceny, the robberies, the assaults, that type of stuff. The car accidents, all of that. Don't be worried about little petty stuff, traffic laws, and all that other goofy shit. That's just what I think. Is that all in regards to that? Yeah, it's not going to reduce crime. That's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments. I got a feeling that I just got something that I'm missing. A point that I'm missing with that. Go off in the live chat in the comments or even call into the show 313-466-4386. We about to switch up these topics real quick. You know we got to keep it moving. We're talking about 40 states officially filed a lawsuit against Google and actually settled. This is coming from cent-tribe.com, cent-trib.com. Now, if you didn't know, they actually started with, what state was that filed it initially? I don't have it on here, but it was a state that filed the suit initially against Google, saying that, hey, since 2014, y'all been telling people if they turn off their location preferences, their location history, if they cut it off, disable it, then no apps, no companies are going to be able to see what your location is to send you certain ads. We're not going to be able to do that. Google has been lying about that since 2014, according to these lawsuits. Google has actually been tracking everybody's location. No matter what, they've been tracking your shit, whether you cut it on or off. They've been tracking it, and they've been using that information to sell to companies so that they can advertise to you. For an example, let's say you are from Michigan and you travel to Atlanta. You're probably going to see, bad example. You're from Michigan, you travel to California. You probably see less ads on your phone or less ads digitally for White Castle and more for Jack in the Box or some type of restaurant that is based on wherever you are. That's what they usually do. Now, some people find like this to be actually enhanced. Oh, I wasn't thinking about Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is in this area. Let's go do it now. Some people actually might feel like it's convenient, but then at the time, a lot of people feel like, I don't want to just give away my location because technically that's one of the most sensitive and valuable pieces of information, your location. And that's what Google actually uses to sell to companies to make their money from advertising. Now, the 40 states got $391.5 million. 40 states. I got to ask the question. For one, that's about 400 million, which breaks down to about, 10 million per state. Are y'all about to give this money to the citizens? Like, what's about to happen with that money? Is that money just about to go to the state just for what? Public use? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If it was going against, or not harming, but going against the will of the people that was using that type of device and using those services, shouldn't it be paid to them? I haven't heard anything about that money being paid directly to citizens, but this article didn't discuss that. And even so, Google probably, once again, like I said, Google probably made so much money in those 8 years or however many years that they said $400 million, that's a drop in the bucket. We made $40 billion. Y'all can have that. We'll take that. That L not heavy. You see what I'm saying? When I saw 400 million, I'm like 10 million a state. How y'all gonna break that up? Like you could probably have 10 million people in each state that was affected. Would they get $1 each? Nah. It's so wrong in so many areas. What I will say as a businessman, I appreciate and understand the effectiveness of location-based ads. Like I said in the example, if I travel to Texas, I probably want to see ads from restaurants and businesses that are in Texas rather than in Michigan. It's going to do me a lot better. It might be some businesses I never thought of, some ideas, some food I never thought of, never heard of, and it comes to my phone and I see it. So it's not the worst thing. Now, if you out here slanging drugs or doing some crazy illegal stuff, you probably don't want your location tracked. They do track suspects from crimes with this technology also. But let me know what you think. Is it a bad idea getting your location tracked? Should Google be paying out more money? Do you even care? Go off in the live chat in the comments. Call into the show. 313-466-4386. We about to go ahead and switch up this last topic in the pop tops real quick. Talking about the White House, the Biden administration specifically. The story is coming from Politico.com. Talking about the Biden administration requesting $48 billion with a B. They're requesting money from Congress so that they can send this to Ukraine. Now, they're actually requesting specifically $38 billion to help Ukraine continue fending off Russian attacks. But then the other $10 billion for emergency health funding, with more than $9 billion going towards COVID vaccine access. And then about $700 million, this is the kicker, only $750 million will go towards the spread of monkeypox, hepatitis C, and HIV. $750 million is a lot of money. Compared to $38 billion or $48 billion, that ain't nothing. That's less than 1%. So with that being said, I feel like we should be focusing most of our money on home domestic problems. We're literally spending, out of 48 billion we're requesting, 38 goes to another country. They've already spent on record or provided $66 billion towards Ukraine. We're about to break $100 billion going towards Ukraine. Let me tell you what we're facing in this country right now. Hurricanes, hurricane disasters, wildfires, droughts, gun crime, and even let's go to HIV and hepatitis C. Monkeypox is a new disease. Why does $750 million of health efforts of funding for health efforts have to be split with monkeypox when HIV has been here? That is so wild to me that money is being spent on somebody else. That's like your mom asking your dad for some money to give to the neighbors when the kids need shoes and clothes. It's like, why are we not focusing on the problems that we have in our own home? Why are we giving away money there? There's clearly a bigger agenda, which I'm not intelligent enough to actually explain that. I don't even know enough. I would love for someone to call it and express that. Let me know what you think about the White House, Biden administration requesting $38 billion, or a total of $48 billion to help with Ukraine. Go off in the live chat in the comments. Call into the show 313-466-4386. Let's get up out of here and switch it up, baby. Talking about music that we recently listened to in the audio audit. Oh man, we listened to a good one too. So let's talk about Nasir Jones. We listened to King's Disease 3. We listened to it on Tidal, no endorsement. It was 17 tracks, 52 minutes. Just outside my scope of duration that I like in my project, between 30 and 45 minutes. Not too bad though. I was excited to listen to this because I actually like King's Disease 1 and 2. I think I like 2 better if I'm not mistaken. I got to go back and listen to it. King's Disease 1 won a Grammy. So now he said, I'm going to continue on with this series. So I think a lot of rappers, artists have different series projects. I don't know if that's just like a thing. But anyway, overall, yeah, I think it was a decent project. Like I said, I think King's Disease 1 or 2 was better, me personally. But this project seemed to have more of an old school type beat feel. Like most of the beats were more old school, like the early Nas type. As opposed to the earlier projects, KD 1 and 2, King's Disease 1 and 2, I feel like those were more modern Hit Boy style beats. You see what I'm saying? Hit Boy is the producer on there. He made the beats. So I feel like Hit Boy put more of his flavor, his style on the earlier King's Disease projects. With this one, I just feel like maybe he still did it, but he was like, let me just make it more old school like Nas in this case. That's how I felt. But overall, I don't know if there's any singles currently playing on WQHH, the Lansing, Michigan Power 96.5, but a couple tracks did stand out to me. Michael and Quincy, that track stood out. The beat switched up after like halfway through. Oh man, it was kind of fire, I ain't gonna lie. It was a track called Reminisce where he used Mary J. Blige sample from You Remind Me. Oh, I already gave my spiel on artists using samples and stuff like that. I gave that in the last episode. But what I want to say is 35 seconds left in that song. The beat switched up again. Well, not again, but the beat switched up. Turned into a drill type beat. And I'm listening, I'm like, I do not like that drill sound. I don't like it. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh my God, it's Fabio Foreign about to come on here. Oh my God, I do not want to hear from this dude. And it was just Nas. For the last 35 seconds, Nas, it just switched up the beat and he was just rapping over the drill type beat. I'm not a drill type fan, so I didn't like that. That stood out to me. I kind of like when, producers or rappers or whatever, they switch up the beat, they switch up the style of the beat in the middle of the song, but I didn't like that at all. Another song called Get Light, that was a very nice vibe. That was one of the last songs. And then there was a track called 30. That was fire. That shit was good. That shit was hard. That shit was hard to me. That shit was hard. Out of all KDs, the King Disease 1, 2, and 3, like I always find at least one track that I'm like, yo. I think it was Spicy on the first one. I forgot what was on the second. I forgot the second King Disease. What's the tracks of, but fire on this one. Woo! 30 was fire. That was fire. Yeah, I had to give it up for that. But overall, decent project. Didn't like this the best out of all the other King's Disease. But let me know what you think about Nas. Let me know what you think about King's Disease 3. Let me know if any other artists, any other project you think we should do an audio audit on. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386. Let's switch. Talking about the scenes that I saw recently in Corn Stream. Nah, man. talking about movies, TV shows we saw. So I recently literally just finished watching. It was a scary movie. It's called Smile. It was on Amazon Prime. No endorsement. But I don't have exactly how long it is. Horror movie. Basically talk about people who are seeing this demon. Seeing this demon, they were hallucinating. Seeing a lot of different people who would just smile. They had this evil grin like this. Looking like YNW Melly. Smiling, an evil grin. And then they would end up like seeing it. It would, all types of crazy stuff would happen. And then they would eventually drive themselves crazy and kill themselves in front of somebody while smiling. So this therapist had one of the patients that was going through that. She ended up killing herself in front of the therapist, in front of her. Then the therapist ended up, I guess, taking on that demon and started seeing crazy stuff. And she didn't kill anybody, but she kept having like crazy, I think she killed a cat. It was some crazy stuff. Overall, it was a decent movie. I started to think horror movie, like I feel like if I was younger, this movie would be scary as hell. And I think that about a lot of horror movies. Would horror movies just be scarier just because we were younger? Because I haven't been scared of a movie since I've been an adult. Maybe because I know they're all movies and just fake. But I feel like if I was a child, this movie would be scary. Or if the scene was right, possibly. Let me know what you think. This was an alright movie. Alright movie. Decent plot, all the other good stuff. Smile on Amazon Prime. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments if you watched that or call into the show. Come on, 313-466-4386. Let's switch. Oh, come on, we gotta do this right. There we go. From this, let's talk about sports, baby. From the stands of a sports fan, my man Pots and Pans. All right, so we're gonna start off with what? Boxing? Nope. NCAA football. So NCAA football, the college football playoff rankings refreshed and they come out today. I don't know what time exactly. I think it's like 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it'll either be in the next 20 minutes or hour 20 minutes. They're going to have the new college football rankings from last week. Let me refresh. Georgia was number 1, undefeated 9-0. Ohio State number 2, 9-0. Michigan Wolverines number 3, 9-0. TCU number 4, 9-0. And Tennessee number 5, 8-1. Tennessee beat Alabama, by the way. So hopefully Michigan still stays in the top 3, which I believe they will. We'll see how much the top 5 or the top 4 switch up. With that being said, I don't think any of the top 4 teams lost at all this past weekend. But that's supposed to be coming out soon. We'll see how that turns out. Since we talking about college anyway, college sports, let's go ahead and get into it. College basketball. Locally, talking about Michigan State. Michigan State men's basketball, currently 1-1. They're going to be going against number 4 ranked Kentucky, who's currently undefeated 2-0. They tip-off is at 7 p.m. 21 minutes from right now, Eastern Standard Time. That's the Champions Classic. MSU took that loss to Gonzaga, I think. Gonzaga a couple days ago. Interesting battle. But, you know, it's unfortunate they took the loss. I don't know how they're going to do against Kentucky. I ain't been watching them this season. You know, it's only 2 games in, but I hate how they go against, like, really good back-to-back good schools to start off the year like this, man. But it could be an upset. Michigan State is just unranked. The preseason AP ranking really doesn't mean anything, but we'll see. Let's go green against Kentucky tonight. We'll see how that turns out. Do I have anything else? Oh, yeah. We got to talk about this real quick. Last night, if you watched my episode yesterday, I believe I talked about the Eagles and Commanders. They had Monday Night Football yesterday. And I said something like, on paper, the Eagles are supposed to beat the Commanders because they are undefeated and Commanders were like 500 or less than 500. That's why I said that, because they did not get the job done. The Eagles got their first loss of the season to the Commanders, bro. And I think were they in Philly? They were in Philly. I think they were in Philly. Yeah, man. So that was crazy. Jalen Hurts, I'm actually a fan of him, not going to lie. He did his thing. He is doing his thing still. The Eagles still a good team. But they were the last undefeated team in the NFL. Now they just currently lost to the Washington Commanders. Does that mean Washington Commanders are going to do anything this season or be relevant? Probably not. It was just a significant win for them over the season. Doesn't have any weight on their record. It's just one extra win, which I think officially makes them 500. Or maybe 1 over 500. But I think they just got the 500 with that win. But other than that, that's it in regards to NFL. Yeah, that is it in regards to NFL. So we're going to just switch it up to this last case. Talking about boxing. Currently got Terrence Crawford against Earl Spence Jr. That is for this weekend, November 19th in Las Vegas. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. They're going to be fighting December 3rd. December 3rd. They're going to be fighting. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me know who you got in those fights. That's going to be coming up. Go off in the live chat in the comments. I would say call into the show, but we about to end up wrapping it up real quick. So let's go ahead and do this. But first, thinking out loud real quick. I had a situation not too long ago, and if you are in a relationship, you've been in this. When your partner gets mad at you, your partner gets upset with you. Now they either go through it two different ways, one or two ways. They either express how they feel, and they might either yell, argue, or they might just talk calmly. You don't know, or they might just put on the silent treatment, not say nothing to you at all, and you know something is wrong because they're not acting normal. But you just kind of like, yo, how do I approach this? Or you do approach them and you ask them what's wrong and they don't say nothing. How do you handle that? I dealt with that a few times recently. I kind of learned to just be like, you know what, just let it be. When you're ready to address it, you address it with me. We'll talk about it. But other than that, I can't just be stressing about trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with you. Even though I feel like as a man, I try to solve all problems, but that's a whole nother battle. But when your partner mad at you, man, let them be mad until they're ready to talk. That's just what I think. That's just me thinking out loud. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments. Call into the show. You can do that. I probably ain't going to pick up. But let's go ahead and get up out of here. You already know what time it is. We're going to wrap up the show, but I need you to do me a favor. Follow me on all social media. KIWKCMC. That's Kick It with KCMC. Just the abbreviations on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you got to follow my sponsor, Team Elite. They on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, also at Team Elite 313. That's at TEAMELITE. And check out their premium urban-based athleisure wear. That's athletic leisure wear, athletic casual wear, t-shirts, sweatshirts, jogging pants, sweatsuits, tech fleece jogger suits, and varsity sets. That's all on your website. Check it out. TeamElite313.com. Ask your mom, boy, she been there before. Hey, if you got this far in the video, I need you to do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the alert so you know when we going live, because I'll pop up and pull up on you at any time. And I need you to do a favor. If you got a couple dollars, donate to the show just so we can grow. Don't be watching this entertainment for free. I appreciate that. Hey, man, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to try to pop up on this thing again tomorrow if we got time. We got to make up for a couple episodes that we missed out on. Appreciate you, man. We up out of here.